Good afternoon. Is this one incredibly good-looking ballroom or what? Of women and a sprinkling of gentlemen. Thank you all for being here with us today. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this year's Power of the Purse, presented by KeyBank Key4Women. And I know we're all thrilled. All of us here are thrilled today that we are back here in person for this event. So a big round of applause for that. You know, I had the honor and privilege earlier this morning to spend some time with Reverend Tutu. And it reminded me of my journey when I served as a Peace Corps volunteer in Madagascar. And you know, the empowerment that we did for the girls in my classroom and all the work that the Peace Corps did in that village was incredibly inspiring. And then, full circle, I came back to the United States and I was at a career fair because being out of the Peace Corps, you have to find a job now. No longer in college or in the Peace Corps. It's that next step. And it was there that I found a flyer at the University of Minnesota to work as an intern at the Greater Twin Cities United Way. And so 20 years, I just realized this driving here today, 20 years to the month, I am now the president and CEO of the Greater Hartford United Way and the greatest Women United Power of the Purse event in the nation. Such an honor. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our co-chairs of today's event, Judy Casperson and Jen Shanley. Give a warm round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Judy Casperson, and with me is Jen Shanley, and we are the co-chairs of this year's Power of the Purse, presented by KeyBank Key4Women.
Judy, before we begin, I'd like to let everyone know that the silent auction powered by Robinson & Cole is now closed. As a partner at Robinson & Cole, I am both proud and thankful for the firm's unwavering support of today's event, as well as the overall mission of Women United. I'd also like to thank everyone who placed bids at our auction today. If you're one of our lucky winners, you'll receive a text message. Well, who's going home with a new purse? A vacation? Maybe the Celtics ball? Fantastic. Congratulations to all of our winners. You can pick up your auction items at the auction checkout tables following the event.
We have a great program for you this afternoon. It's all about leading the charge and inspiring the change. At this time, welcome someone who has dedicated their career to public service and supporting families. Hartford Mayor Luke Bronen.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Judy and Jen. And thank you to everybody for being here. I know we've had a couple of virtual events, great virtual events over the last couple of years, but it is so good to be back in the convention center and to see this place packed with so many dedicated people and so much power. So let's give a round of applause for everybody who's here. Thank you for your constant and continued support for the work of the United Way. I want to take a minute, I don't feel like we got a chance, or at least I got a chance, this year to really say thank you to somebody who's been a tremendous partner for my entire time as mayor. Paula Gilberto was such an extraordinary leader for the United Way, an extraordinary partner for the city of Hartford. And from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of my team and on behalf of the entire city, I just want to say thank you to you, Paula. I don't know where you went. I got a chance to see you before, but I just want to make sure that we all thank you for all of the work that you've done. And I know you continue to stay engaged and involved in so many ways. And so proud now to welcome and to partner Eric to this work. We've already begun working together and really grateful for that partnership. But come on, we can do better than that for Paula. Let's give her one more big round of applause. The work that the United Way has been doing has always mattered. It has mattered for many, many years. It matters in this state as a whole, it matters in this region, and it sure matters in this city. And one of the things that has distinguished United Way's work is their relentless focus on Alice, on families that are asset limited, income constrained, but employees, who are working job and job and job together and still barely making ends meet. And the United Way has been focused in its mission of trying to lift up those families, to create opportunity through financial education, through tax assistance, through so many different things. It really has never mattered more than it has over the past couple of years, as families tried to navigate the pandemic and all of the disruption that it brought. And right now, as so many families face price pressure, whether it is at the grocery store or on rent, this work matters more than ever. And I want to say a special thanks, going back to that tax prep, for that partnership, because that work has brought millions and millions of dollars back to families in this city and in this region. And this past year, it did even more because of the child tax credit and the expanded earned income tax credits. So all the volunteers who are part of that, thank you. And to everybody whose support makes that work, thank you. I think it's important that we as a city continue to stay focused on that work. We cannot do it well without your partnership. And so to everybody who's here, to KeyBank for their sponsorship, to the Women United, to the board, and to all of the sponsors and funders, thank you for the work that you do. Please keep it up. Let's see this place reestablish this tradition as one of the best, most powerful gatherings every year in Hartford that makes the biggest difference. And finally, let me just say, I know you'll hear much more about her later, but what an honor to have Reverend Naomi Tutu here with us today. And what a special honor that she is not just coming to Hartford, but that she is coming back to Hartford. She had taught at UHart and at UConn, and we are so proud that Hartford is a part of her story, and so grateful that she's here to share her inspiration with us. Thank you all. God bless you for the work that you do, and God bless you for the work that you make possible. Go Hartford and go United Way.
Thank you, Mayor Bronen. It's hard to believe that today marks our 11th annual Power of the Purse. I'm honored to serve as co-chair for this special event and equally proud to serve as a member of United Way Women United. Women United is a global network of women philanthropists who are dedicated to improving conditions where we live and where we work. Our program today is all about leading the charge and inspiring the change, because that is what Women United members do each and every day. Locally, we're working to ensure that our women and families have opportunities to achieve financial stability.
ALICE is a United Way coined acronym, meaning asset limited, income constrained, employed. People in our community who are working hard and despite that fact are living paycheck to paycheck. They're very challenged to meet their basic needs: housing, childcare, transportation, food, and healthcare. Even before the pandemic, 3 out of 10 families in our region, in every city and town in Connecticut, were challenged to meet these needs. And now, after the COVID-19 pandemic, 4 out of 10 families are highly impacted by these things and finding it more difficult to find health care. United Way's vision is a community where all families achieve financial security. And it's going to happen, and it's going to take all of you. And we really appreciate that everyone here is now a part of the change that we're trying to make. And remembering that specifically nearly 3/4 of households headed by single women in Connecticut is ALICE. At this time, I'd like to introduce our presenting sponsor, KeyBank, Key4Women. Thank you for leading the charge today for women and families and serving this important role in our community. As a team member myself, Vice President at KeyBank, I'm so proud of an organization that prioritizes events like this and supports opportunities to help women and families in our community achieve their financial goals. It is now my pleasure to introduce my colleague, Vanity Bryant.
Good morning, or good afternoon. Thank you, Judy. Let me start by saying how thrilled we are to serve as presenting sponsors of the Power of the Purse for the second year in a row. KeyBank and Key4Women have been part of the Power of the Purse for several years now, joining the United's Way efforts to support the financial health of women and families in Greater Hartford. Their mission aligns so well with our Key4Women program. Key4Women is all about providing women with financial tools and guidance needed to succeed in business and in life. Exactly what Women United and the Power of the Purse are all about. Just like Women United, Key4Women is a community of women committed to using our connections and collective power to help one another. When you join Key4Women, you become a part of a network of professional women who share a passion for business and helping women succeed. We do this by providing certified advisors who help guide women businesses and owners manage their financial journeys, networking events and education opportunities that help foster professional and business development, access to financial resources that help women become more financially confident, and KeyBank Financial Wellness is at the core of everything we do. We provide our clients with the tools and guidance they need to manage their money wisely and achieve their financial goals. Financial wellness is something that everyone can achieve regardless of your income level. Even in times like these, when rising inflation and other economic challenges have many of us in shaky financial footing, there are many things we can do to get ourselves on the path to financial health. And that's what today's event is all about, right? Helping women and their families get on a better path. It is my honor now to introduce you to someone who's been utilizing these resources at the Financial Opportunity Center, where people in our community can access job training, financial education, and asset building opportunities at all of our convenient locations. Please turn your attention to the screens and hear Tammy's inspiring story.
I had been going through a difficult time through the loss of a job, and I decided to reach out to them and see if I could get some help. I said things like, I had those moments that I was like not sure that I was doing something right for myself. I was afraid to share about my vulnerability, of losing my job and not being able to pay my bills.
So I was kind of with her through all the ups and downs, her losing her job. Not only am I a financial coach, but a career coach. So trying to navigate those waters of trying to find employment so she can get her income back up and pay her, basic needs and any debts that she may have had at the time, and really strategizing with her. I call her my accountability partner and vice versa.
They encouraged me, they gave me support, they reminded me that I wasn't alone, that they were there for me, and that they were there to support me. And from there, it helped regain my self-esteem. And so from there, they started implementing tools of the program of the Financial Opportunity Center. And those tools were creating those budgets and talking one-to-one. It led to more discussions and more planning around my finances, and helping me learn to build on those things, certain things like building on my credit, cleaning up my credit, making like payments and paying off things such as the storages that I didn't need. They helped me identify those things, and they helped me to make plans and set goals and how I could get to a solution.
We do a couple assessments. We do the budget assessment, we pull a credit report, we assess the financial health, and then we do a balance sheet, assets versus liabilities, to kind of get the full scope of the individual's financial situation, because how else are we going to plan otherwise? So we use those assessments to really drive the strategy and plan.
So I opened the IBA account, and at first it was for home ownership, but then I changed my goal because the home buyers market, the rates were kind of high, and they were outside of the scope for my finances. So I decided to start my own business. I created the name, got the EIN number, and from there I got the LLC credential. And, things just started taking off. And I got my notary commission. I applied for an EIN number, my notary seal, and it was official. I also applied for my loan signing credentials, so that I can become a loan signer, notary loan signing.
About a year. Yeah, we've been working together. It's been such a journey, and I am so proud of him. It's we're inviting clients to this program like Tammy, who are actively budgeting, actively tracking their expenses, saving, because they're proving to us that, they're creating those habits. And those habits, changing your habits is very hard as a human being, as we all know. So each month, checking on the budget, tracking your expenses, any money that's going out, whether it's a debit card, credit card, or cash in your pocket, tracking those minuscule expenses, because at the end of the day, they all add up. And you want more money coming in than going out, so that's where the budget comes in. And then, like Tammy said, creating a savings plan so she can save up to that $2,000 amount and get that match of $2,000, equaling that $4,000 to start a business like she did. It's an amazing program.
But it's been a true journey. I couldn't have done it without my coaches. Oh my God. My coaches, like I said, they were there for me emotionally, financially, just there for me totally, and in all aspects. And I can't have more gratitude than just to say that, because my life has totally changed as a result of the Financial Opportunity Center.
What an incredible story. Thank you, Tammy, for sharing that with us today. I'd now like to welcome to the stage Amy Bartolotta, Director of Performance Analytics at the Hartford.
Thank you. The Hartford is proud to be the keynote speaker sponsor of Power of the Purse, and to partner with United Way as we work to provide equitable opportunities and outcomes for our neighbors in the capital city. I'm honored to introduce this year's keynote speaker, the Reverend Nantumbi Naomi Tutu. The challenges of growing up Black and female in apartheid South Africa have been the foundation of Naomi's life as an activist for human rights. Those experiences taught her that our whole human family loses when we accept situations of oppression, and how the teaching and preaching of hate and division injure us all. You may recognize the name Tutu. Naomi's father is none other than the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Please join me in welcoming the Reverend Nantumbi Naomi Tutu.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. No. You're going to have to do better than that. Seriously. Good afternoon. Thank you. Now I feel welcomed. Thank you. It really is wonderful to be back in Hartford, and it is an honor to be the speaker for the power of the purse. Today in South Africa, we celebrate Youth Day in commemoration of the Soweto Uprising in 1976, when young people took to the streets in opposition to Bantu education, and in particular the imposition of Afrikaans as a medium of instruction. And here in this country, this weekend, we will be celebrating Juneteenth, when the enslaved people in Texas finally found out that the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed. And I think that it is not a mistake that we are celebrating these two stories of people struggling for justice and freedom, and we are gathered here in honor of the power of the purse, of women whose place in many struggles gets overwritten, overshadowed, and yet whose place in the struggles of South Africa, in the struggles against slavery, and continues now in the struggle for economic, social, and racial justice. That we celebrate the power of the purse, we celebrate the power of women, and we uplift the role that women play throughout our society. This morning I had the opportunity to be part of a conversation with people mostly from the Hartford, and was asked about my experience studying women-headed households. And I told them, I said, well, that is actually part of my presentation, so you're going to have to come to the lunch if you want to hear about that. Because I think that one of the things that I have come to recognize is how common it is that it's not just the world in general that overlooks women's work. It is women ourselves who minimize what it is that we do. And that was my learning, my major learning from studying women-headed households in rural South Africa. I was working on a PhD that I did not complete, as my father liked to remind me at every occasion that he possibly could. Anytime something would go wrong in my life, my dad would say, see, if you had finished that PhD, this wouldn't be happening right now. And I'd be like, Dad, my roof is leaking. Nothing to do with a PhD, seriously. But I was working on my field work in a rural village in South Africa, looking to see what it was that women did to support themselves as heads of households in these communities where men were away from the communities as migrant workers for most of the year. And I was struck that as I would interview people and I was asking the women, so what do you do? And they would say, oh, Sis Nontombi, I don't do anything. I do nothing. I live here. I wait for money from my son, my husband, and I do nothing. So I decided, okay, I am going to follow these women and see what nothing looks like. And my first thought was, I am going to follow a woman every day, just one woman in the village. I'm going to choose to follow each day just to see what somebody's day looks like. After my first day, I changed my plan. I was like, I'm going to follow a woman every week to see what their day is, because I was exhausted from my first day of nothing. Because these women were getting up at 5 in the morning, going to the river to get water, or going into the woods to get to get wood for a fire. They would come home and make fire to have hot water so that when the rest of the family woke up, there was hot water for the children to take their baths, for them to have something to eat, to have porridge and tea before they went to school. They were getting their children ready for school. And let me tell you, when those children walked out of those homes with no electricity, where their mother had been heating and cooking on an open fireplace, those children walked out of that house looking spotless. Let me tell you, I own an iron. I mean, many of my friends don't believe me when I say that I actually have an iron in my house, because they look at my clothes and really? And they're like, well, I do actually have an iron. I keep it in the house so that my children will understand when people ask them about an iron, what an iron actually looks like. Like, okay, so this is an iron. When your grandmother comes to visit, she might ask for an iron. This is what you give her, okay? These women were ironing with those old black iron irons that they were putting on the fire, and ironing white shirts that came out white still after they had been ironed. Then, after the children had gone to school, they were either out in the fields, planting, weeding, harvesting, or they were going into town and buying vegetables or candy in bulk to come back to sell in the community. They were brewing homemade beer to sell to the soldiers at the military post down the road. They were helping one another build and maintain this community, and yet they still said they did nothing. And their work sustained that community, raised those children, enabled their migrant family members to stay away and sometimes not send money for support for months at a time. And yet, they said they did nothing. And I tell this story and I emphasize this over and over because that was women in rural South Africa, but I find that same story of women all over the world. I find that story when I talk to women about business meetings where they say, you know, before a woman starts to say something, they normally will say, I might be wrong, but this is just my perception, but maybe, like, so with a tentativeness about what it is that they have to offer in this space. When I can assure you, I have a son, and men will say, when they are saying something absolutely, completely wrong, they will say it with such confidence that we listen. Even as we're thinking, I'm sure that's not right. So when we gather at occasions like this, Yes, it is important that you are raising money. And I will say, be generous. There's a scan thing there on your table. Scan. I believe they accept credit cards. I believe they even accept cash. There are so few places nowadays that do that. But please be generous. That yes, that money is important. But as important is being there to encourage women to dream. That when Tammy speaks of her experience, she spoke of how important it was to get the financial training, how important it was to be given guidance as she thought about how to make a new life coming off losing a job. But did you realize that she said how important it was that her mentors were there for her, that they encouraged her to see opportunities that she might not have imagined for herself, that they encouraged her to believe in herself. And I was sitting and my table partner showed me a card that she had received from Tammy when she didn't know who Tammy was, and then seeing Tammy on the screen and saying, oh, I just had this amazing conversation with this young woman, and not realizing that it is her story that is part of this celebration today. That how important it is that we allow ourselves as women to believe in ourselves, to care for ourselves, to know that dreaming is the first step in achieving, to know that having people around you who encourage you, who let you know how much you can achieve is key to being able to be strong in our society. And we know that COVID impacted us all, that the pandemic had an effect on all of us, how we found ourselves closed off from one another in many cases, how we found ourselves alone, having to struggle for the younger generation with teaching their children, doing work, caring for elder parents, that we know how hard that all was. And we also know that the impact of COVID was felt disproportionately by women, and particularly by women of color and those who were already struggling economically. So as we come out of this pandemic, I tell people that it doesn't make sense for us to say that we have all been in this boat together. Because the reality is, while we all struggled through the pandemic, some of us, let's admit it, were in a cruise liner during that pandemic. And I count myself in that group. In fact, I was telling my children that I am so glad y'all are grown, because I don't know if I could have made it through the pandemic trying to teach you. One of you probably would not have made it through, and I would be in orange right now. Because for me, in fact, the pandemic, actually, initially, it felt good. I didn't have to go to work. I was at home alone. I love being home alone. So I was just like, oh my gosh, this is an extended vacation. This is wonderful. So for some of us, we were in a cruise liner. Others we know were in lifeboats, struggling to find a place of shelter. And others were even in the water, trying not to drown. And those in the water were disproportionately women of color who were counted as doing essential work and were forced to be out, whether it was working in grocery stores or in cleaning hospitals or in old age homes, that those we called essential workers, who we did not treat as essential human beings, that we did not take care of their health, we did not ensure that they and their families received the best protection from COVID that they could. So we were not all in the same boat, but we can all be caring and empowering for those who suffered the most through this experience. We can be those who are supportive economically as well as emotionally to those who struggled the most. It is absolutely important that we, as women in particular, model that care for oneself is an important part of the work that we do in the world. I remember when I finally clicked to that lesson was one time I was doing a presentation and was sharing the platform with Betty Williams, who along with Mayred Maguire were the women who started the peace movement in Northern Ireland and received the Nobel Peace Prize for their work. And on that day, there was something wrong with flights, and so we both arrived late at the city that we were going to present. My flight got in first, and when they picked me up, they said, oh, Miss Tutu, you don't have much time. We need you just need to get dressed really quickly. We'll take you to the hotel. You can get changed really quickly, and then we're going to go straight to the event. There's no time for anything else. And so, being a good person, I ran in when we got to the hotel. I quickly washed my face. I did the cheating makeup thing, and then went running down the stairs to get in the car. And as I came down the stairs, Betty Williams was walking into the hotel. And they were like, oh, Ms. Williams, you don't have any time at all. You're just going to need to quickly freshen up and get ready to go straight to the event. And she said, no. And I was just like, what? She said, no. When I present, I want to be fully present. I want to give those people who have come to hear me all of me. And I can't do that if I go rushing there right now. I need a cup of tea, maybe a glass of wine before I go out there. So y'all are going to have to give me a few minutes. And she said, you know what? I looked at the schedule, and we have on the schedule a reception before the presentation. I'd like you to tell the people who've been invited to the reception that I will do a reception after the presentation, and that they will wait after the presentation. I will be happy to spend time with them. But I am going to take care of myself so that the person I bring is the person I know I can be. And I was just like, my hero. I want to be like you when I grow up. And when we talk about supporting women to be all that they can be and do in the world, I think it is of utmost importance that we let them know that self-care is part of that you cannot be the amazing person you were created to be if you are running on fumes. I used to get a babysitter overnight, maybe once every 2-3 months, and check myself into a Motel 6 when my children were little. Because I was like, I just need one night, Lord, just one night, where I don't have somebody going, Mommy, Mommy. I mean, I love my children, don't get me wrong, but they were crazy making. And I was not looking for luxury. You heard me. I said Motel 6. I didn't say the Radisson, the Marriott. I just wanted a bed on my own. That even something that small, so often women are made to believe that that time for yourself is a time that you are cheating the world, that you should be constantly on for everybody else. But you can't be on for anybody else if you are not on for yourself. And once the children were a bit older, I started going away on vacations without them. And I would tell my daughters, I would say, I'm doing this for you. I'm trying to model for you what I want you to do when you are grown. So really, this holiday isn't about me at all. It's about being a good role model for my daughters. That the work of empowering and enabling women to be fully a part of our political and economic system has to be also about allowing women to look in the mirror and love what they see. To be about looking at themselves and knowing that they deserve to live their dreams. The work of empowering and strengthening women has to be the work of a community. A community that offers, as the United Way offers, opportunities for financial literacy, opportunities for financial stability, opportunities for job training. But it also has to be about the opportunities to believe that you are an essential part of our community. And often, the message that women, particularly those on the margins, receive is that they are not important human beings in our society, that their stories are not important, that their experiences are not important. I always go back to our experience as a country when do you remember, I mean, some of you are maybe too young for this, but do you remember when the whole welfare reform debate was going on? What was particularly striking for me about that conversation was that though the people who received welfare were not a part of that conversation, that we as a country did not ask them, what is it about the system that works for you, what doesn't work, what would make sense, what would empower you, what would allow you to achieve what you dream of for yourself and for your children. We did not ask that question. And the reason we didn't ask the question is because we decided that we knew them, that we knew their story without hearing it from them. That the stories that we had about women on welfare, and it was always about women on welfare, was that these are women who are enjoying this life on welfare, that in fact they have more babies so that they can get a bigger check, and that they are taking those food stamps and they're buying steaks and lobster, which I can afford as a hard-working person. We decided that that was the story of those who relied on our government support. And because we decided that was their story, we decided that we didn't have to hear anything from them about the system that was so central to their lives. And that is a big one, right? That is a huge missed opportunity that we had. But we continue to have those missed opportunities. And if COVID showed us anything, it did show us how few stories of those on the margins actually direct our policies towards people on the margins. And it is in that space that organizations like United Way have played an important role in recognizing that we are talking about individuals. We are talking about human beings. We are talking especially about women. Women who have hopes for themselves, for their children, for their community. We are talking about women who dream a better future for themselves and their children. We are talking about women who have fears about branching out in new ways in their lives. And that if we allow these women to tell us their dreams, their hopes, their fears, that then we come together as a community and open spaces for them to move past what it is that they fear into their dreams and hopes for themselves, for their children, for our world. And so it is so important that we have occasions such as this, where we focus our minds on the dreams, the aspirations, the work of women who struggle to make ends meet, who struggle to give their children all the things they would love to give them, and who are just like us, human beings made in God's amazing image, with gifts that we as a community need, so that when they are empowered, when they are given opportunities, we all benefit. So I thank you for being here this afternoon, and I encourage you to dig deep in those beautiful purses that you have, or those wallets that you are carrying, to give to this amazing work. Thank you.
Everyone, Reverend Tutu, was that not amazing? I am curious. I am going to ask the group this honestly. So, as Reverend Tutu was sharing her stories, I thought to myself, there was a moment in that story, or in her speaking parts, where she was talking about the event that she had been to and the reception, and how she had looked towards the other speaker and thought, I want to be you when I grow up. I'm just curious, did anyone else have the thought? Because I distinctly had it, which was, I would like to be you when I grow up. Right? Wonderful. All right, everybody, thanks again for being here. A fantastic event. It's wonderful to all be back in person. Honestly, the room is crowded. It is beyond our expectations, the turnout, so thank you very much for that. And in case you were wondering, we do have folks participating virtually, so really an interesting event for us in that it's a hybrid, but really honored to be here and thankful that you're all here with us. I'd like to introduce myself in case you don't know me. My name is Vicki Pace. I am chair of the board of directors for this United Way, and I am also a very proud member of Women United. Okay. For more than a decade, United Way and Women United have been committed to helping women in our region and to achieve, financial security. We're so proud of what we have been able to achieve together during this time. It's an exciting time, frankly, for our United Way as we approach 100 years of service in this community. Can you believe that? 100 years. 2024 will be our 100th anniversary. It's a milestone, frankly, that affords us to reflect on the opportunities and impact that we've made in the community. But, honestly, and more importantly, it's about what we can do in the next 100 years of service to the community. So you're going to hear a lot more about the Centennial campaign. We're going to be kicking that off in earnest later this year, but we wanted to just give you a sense for what was coming. So earlier in the program today, you heard about the new economic hardships affecting many people in our region as a result of the pandemic. New challenges arise every day, and addressing these complex issues really, truly requires leadership. United Way and Women United are uniquely positioned to lead the charge in addressing the challenges before us today. We are all about bringing people and resources together to get the results that make our community stronger. That is who we have always been and is what we will continue to do. And I am so pleased to announce that today that United Way and Women United are introducing a new affinity group. The group will be called the Women of Tocqueville. Women of Tocqueville is a transformative group of committed business, civic, and philanthropic female leaders who are dedicated to helping their neighbors in need and stabilizing families struggling to make ends meet. We will do this through engagement opportunities that tackle challenges and create sustainable change for Alice families. Through the members' involvement, they will be afforded the opportunity to build strong bonds with other like-minded philanthropists, deepen their knowledge of community issues, and support women and children by sharing their wisdom, service, and generosity. Membership in Women of Tocqueville will be for individuals who donate a minimum of $10,000 or more annually through the United Way campaign, and of that, $5,000 would be allocated to the Women of Tocqueville Fund. Dollars invested in the Women of Tocqueville Fund will be allocated to programs aligned to United for Alice with input from members. And I'm excited to also share that the first 50 individuals to become members of Women of Tocqueville will be recognized as founders in perpetuity. Now, I understand that that's a pretty significant financial ask, and so I would just offer that, in all the comments and all the feedback you've heard today and the stories that you've seen, think about the need in the community. And if you are in a position to be able to do that, it would be truly, truly helpful and wonderful for the community to be able to donate at that level. I'm proud to say that last week I actually committed to being the first member of this new group of leaders to help propel the next generation. Today, you have an opportunity to join us as a founding member, and I would like to share a little bit more about how we could do that. So I would like to invite Jen and Judy back to the stage. I'd also like to introduce you all to the chair of Women United, who is Julia Johnson-Brunson, and they're going to help us explain how we can give a little more today.
Thank you, Vicki. What a unique opportunity. Let's continue to invest in creating opportunities for our Alice households to obtain financial security. Our goal today is to raise $50,000 between now and the end of the program, and there are 2 different ways to give. If you're more comfortable with paper, you'll find a donation card on your table. Once you've completed the card, please raise it up and a volunteer will come by to pick it up from you. If you prefer your mobile device, instructions will be on the screen as I read them aloud. If at any point you have any questions, raise your hand and a volunteer in a yellow lanyard will come by to help you. All right, let's get started. I invite you to click on the welcome link that you received via text message this morning when you registered for the event. If you didn't receive that link, please text the keyword WUPOP22 to the number 243725. Once you receive the link, click through and press the blue Donate Now button. Then simply click on Support Women United and select an amount or select Other and enter an amount of your choosing. If you're interested in becoming a member of Women United or would like to renew your membership, there's no better time than now.
That's right, Jen. You can also join me as a founding member of Women of Tocqueville. So by pledging $10,000 and committing $5,000 of that specifically to support United for Alice. We're looking forward to seeing, and hopefully others will be able to join me in that effort today.
Proceeds raised today will go to United Way-supported programs that allow women and families to learn financial skills and qualify for good-paying jobs with opportunities for advancement. Remember, Women United is passionate about supporting Alice. Alice is our friend, neighbor, coworker, and family member. Alice cares for our children and aging parents, fixes our cars, works in our local grocery store, retail store, and restaurants. Alice lives in every town and community in Connecticut. And Alice has been disproportionately impacted by the economic and health consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our Power of the Purse theme this year is leading the charge and inspiring the change. And by virtue of being here today, every one of you is doing just that. Thank you. So, we invite you to give at whatever level is most comfortable for you. Once again, the volunteers in the yellow lanyards are there to help you. Just raise your hand and they'll take care of you. A special thanks to the Hartford for matching employee donations to benefit today's event. Oh my goodness, look at what's happening. Yeah, this is incredible.
We did it. We definitely did it.
We did it. We did it.
Yeah?
Good job.
Oh my gosh.
Congratulations, ladies. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we made $57,004. That's good. And thank you for those who are joining Women of Tocqueville as founding members today. We appreciate your leadership. Think, if 10 of you donate $1,000 each, that's $10,000. And if 4 people contribute $5,000 each, that's $20,000. Gifts of $1,000 or more qualify you to be included in United Way's prestigious leadership giving societies and offer additional networking and learning opportunities with like-minded philanthropists. If you would like to join or renew your Women United membership, now is the time. Those who contribute $50 today will become members of Women United. And you can also be a founding member of Women of Tocqueville with a minimum contribution of $10,000 today.
It's incredible. We have $59,465,000 just in our Power of Purse raising theme. We sincerely appreciate all of your contributions and want you to know that this is still open until the end of our event today. So let's just continue to fill the purse. And welcome to all the founding members of Women of Tocqueville. You're all philanthropic leaders who've raised the bar in creating lasting change for local women and families. We're still accepting all the donations, so we'll see you at the end. And it is my honor and pleasure to turn it over to our esteemed leader. Julia Johnson-Brunson is the chair of Women United and United Way. United Way, Women United. And we couldn't be here without her. Julia.
Thank you. So thank you, Jen and Judy. You both exemplify Women United's call to action of leading the charge and inspiring the change. Please accept this token of appreciation for all the work you've done to make this event a success. Here's the tokens. They're a little slow. Let's just let it marinate. Let's let it marinate. Thank you. And thank you. Reverend Tutu, your speech really hit my soul, and that is Julia for it was inspiring, so thank you very, very much. As I reflect on my time as chair, it's incredible to think what we have done together and all that we've accomplished. Over the last 11 years, we've raised more than $1.8 million. And here, oh, yes, I deserve the clap. And here's what we've done to make it possible. We took what began as a pilot initiative and made it into a full-service financial opportunity center, which is a one-stop shop where people can find job training, financial education, asset building support, all in one place versus having to travel to multiple organizations to access these services. This model continues to be refined, replicated across the state. Through Power of the Purse, we've established a matched savings program that helps local women achieve goals by providing a dollar-for-dollar match for their savings. I am pleased to say that to date, more than 1,100 people have gone through programs and services offered at the Financial Opportunity Center. Some of them are here with us today, and many more have achieved some impressive milestones on their financial journey, such as securing better housing, including the purchase of a home, buying and repairing cars, paying for college courses for themselves and their children, or starting their own businesses like Tammy, who we just saw in the video today. As I reflect on my role, I think what I'm honestly most proud of is my time that I volunteered with Women United. I started volunteering with Women United in 2015, and I did financial coaching. I read to children at Milner, Belize, Burr. We had a spin-a-thon. I even took a stab at gardening, which I'm absolutely terrible at. But my point is, I enjoyed the volunteering because volunteering with Women United made me a better human being. And being the chair of Women United made me a better professional. And I've always thought that it's way more likely that I'm going to be a human being longer than I'm going to be a professional. So I want to make sure that my skills and humanity are A1. So while I am concluding my time with chair, I won't be stepping away from Women United. Ladies, I will definitely come back and volunteer in any capacity you guys will have me. At this time, I would like to welcome in the incoming chair. Now I have a few things to say about the incoming chair. The incoming chair is my friend. She is my right hand in philanthropic volunteer leadership. If you know her, she always leads with grace and excellence with a side of Black girl magic. She is the absolute grace to my grit. I am going to introduce you to Erica Dean, Vice President and Human Resources at Comcast Cable. Congratulations, my friend.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone, and I couldn't ask for a warmer welcome. Thank you so much, Julia. And thank you, Julia, for leading the charge and inspiring change for Women United for the last 2 years. But that was her leadership capacity. She has been involved, as she said, since 2015. And I can't say enough about Julia's leadership as I look to fill her shoes. You have a quiet strength and a fortitude that is amazing. And she always stays true to mission. She loves this community, and she loves digging in deep for our women and our families. So thank you for everything you've done. I've enjoyed working with you. Thank you so much. And of course, I can't forget the gift. The gift, my friend. Thank you so much. The strength of Women United is in its volunteer leadership and its vibrant members. I'm excited and privileged as I begin in my role as chair of Women United, and I thank you for this opportunity. My involvement in this wonderful organization has been incredible over the past 6 years, and it's been rewarding for me on a personal level, a professional level, and a philanthropic level. I'm grateful to be amongst a powerful and diverse group of people who want to make a difference for our community. Thank you all for being here with me this afternoon. Your contribution and your time is a treasure and will help United Way's efforts in creating lasting change for hardworking women and families. I strongly believe that there are power in partnerships. And I'd like to personally thank my Comcast NBC Universal family for the partnership and for returning to this event as our media sponsor. Together, we'll create a vibrant future filled with kindness, compassion, and community. I look forward to working with many of you as we forward ahead. I once again would like to remind you that you can still lead the charge and inspire change with a financial contribution. You've done so much already, so thank you, but you can always do that between now and the end of the program. So now I have the honor of being able to welcome back our co-chairs of this wonderful event, Judy Casperson and Jen Shanley.
Thank you, Erica. I'm excited to work closely with you in your new role, and I look forward to your leadership. Now more than ever, the work of United Way is critical as our community recovers from the health, economic, and education impacts the pandemic caused.
Thank you to each and every one of you in this room and those watching live stream. You're choosing to live united today by participating in this event, and it means so much to our community. You are truly inspiring. Thank you.
And now, all of us are wondering, how much have we raised together in support of Alice? As of right now, we've raised over $145,000 to assist. And again, this is going to assist women and families becoming more financially secure. Our digital program book highlights the sponsors, table leaders, event planning committee, auction committee, and the staff team that made this event possible. Simply scan the QR code on your program or your centerpiece to access the digital program book. Thank you to our generous sponsors. Presenting sponsor, KeyBank, Key4Women. Keynote speaker sponsor, the Hartford. Networking sponsor, Pratt & Whitney. Auction sponsor, Robinson & Cole. Media sponsor, Comcast, NBC Universal. And platinum sponsors, Collins Aerospace and Sun Life. I'd also like to recognize all of our gold, silver, bronze, and table sponsors.
Jen and I would like to personally thank you for the incredible volunteers on the steering committee, table leaders, auction committee members, the United Way staff team, and everyone who worked so hard to make today's event possible.
We also want to once again thank Vicki Pace for your leadership in all ways, but specifically as the very first member of Women of Tocqueville. Thank you. Thanks to all who joined us today or who will join us in the future for being part of this exciting new chapter. I hope you've been inspired by one another today. You are a living and breathing example of what it looks like to live united. Please give yourself a round of applause. And please do join us at the 12th annual Power of the Purse, which will now take place on Saturday, June 10th, 2023. Until then, take care and live united.